it says live now.
Yep. Oh, okay. I guess I'm going to talk. Hi, for those of you that are watching. This is a new format for us. Those of you that have been with us before know that we typically do these in just a plain Google Hangout, but we wanted more people to be able to watch live. So we're using Hangouts on Air this time, which means there's very limited spots. So if you did want to come in live, a few people can do that. If a lot of people try to do it at once, it may not let you in. So just be patient and watch Brandon. If you are on the Google Plus page, you can submit questions by using the question button at the bottom of the screen. If you are on YouTube, you can leave questions in the comments. And we will let you know at the end what you can do to win Brandon's pipe. And he will talk about that a little bit later.
So on there, the viewers, let's say how many are active right now?
Where? No, not that one. That one is oh, yeah, that's how many are active on the Hangouts page. So that doesn't give you YouTube. You know you're live, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so.
I'm just trying to get a feel for the new. This is a little bit new, different than what we normally use. So where do we see the? Well, okay, we'll just start.
You talk to Brandon. I'll do that part.
I'm showing how unprepared I am right now. Okay, so thank you, Brandon, for taking the time today to talk to us.
Well, thank you. I'm honored you asked me.
Yeah, so we normally start asking everyone what they're smoking and what pipe and what tobacco they're smoking. So I guess we'll just share what you're smoking, what I'm smoking. I've got.
Oh, I don't smoke.
I've got. You got a Tom Eltang?
No, I said, oh, I don't smoke. Jokingly said I don't smoke. So.
I've got a bat in a hat, or bat with a hat, in my Dagner P3 poker. What do you have tonight?
I've got my I have a Costello Bulldog. Love this shape. And I'm smoking Dunhill Nightcap.
Very nice. Okay, so how did you just get started into smoking?
Well, I had only really occasionally smoked cigars before smoking a pipe. and never smoked cigarettes. And one day, I think I was back home in South Carolina at my parents for their anniversary at the time. And I'd been in this pipe shop that was in the mall there and I just decided one day I was going to buy a pipe because my it's the same cliche kind of answer, but my grandfather smoked a pipe and I always liked it. He had, the drugstore apple tobacco and various cherry, type things. And I brought it. Where did I put it? I only have one pipe of his. And it is basically like a Falcon copy, and the shank on that thing is plastic. So it was definitely a drugstore pipe, but it smokes very well. I still smoke it every once in a while.
Huh.
That's how I got into pipe smoking.
And then how did you make the transition from smoking into pipe making? What bridged that gap? I think we have a slight freeze here.
It's frozen.
Brandon, I don't know if you can hear me, but you're frozen on our end. If you can try to get that. There you go. There you are.
Oh.
We lost you for a second.
There you are.
Lost voice and picture, or just picture?
Everything.
Oh, but you're back.
Oh, okay. Well, what was the last thing I said you heard?
I didn't hear any of the answer of how did you get from pipe smoking to pipe making? How did that happen?
I'm one of those guys. I like to know how things tick. and we'll take stuff apart and try and figure out, how to do it. I worked in the music instrument industry for about 8 years. I was a music major in college, and percussion in particular, and I wanted to learn how to make a drum, so I just started studying it and figuring out a few things here and there. Same thing sort of happened with pipes. It's like, okay, I think I can do this. Maybe I can make pipes for less money than I have to spend on one, and meanwhile, thousands of dollars worth of equipment later, I rarely make a pipe for myself anymore at all. So I wanted to see how it worked. Started making them.
So where do you, when you decide to do that, where did you start? Did you just look around on the internet? Were you on YouTube? Like what path did you take?
I looked around on the internet, and I found Pipe Makers Forum, and pretty much started the same way a lot of guys do with Pimo. Got a pipe kit, made a hideous pipe. I still have it, and I don't think I'll show it to you.
I would love to see it.
I have not shown it to anyone. And I thought about it. So this is terrible. This is so embarrassing. No one is allowed to do a screenshot.
All right, quickly.
Okay? There it is. It's terrible. Bye.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
That's
man.
an exclusive right there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. No one has really seen it. It smokes great. Of course, it was a kit. I didn't drill the holes on it. All I did was do the piss poor shaping on it. So then I started, I tried to go with too much of freehand kind of stuff first. And were I to do it over, I would completely stick with classics first, which is what I recommend to everybody now. Because once I shifted into doing classic shapes, I really started to learn more about why this works, why this is a classic, why the lines flow this way and that way. And it's always function over form first with my pipes. Even some of the odd stuff I've shown you, they have to actually smoke like a pipe first before I'll do anything crazy.
So as you improved from pipe to pipe, what do you really attribute that success to, or that improvement? Was it just a lot of like self-analyzing, or was there anyone that you were working with, or like what made you improve over time?
I would say, I think I've been making pipes about 8 years now, and I would say that the first 5 years of that were just making pipes, not really making pipes. And I went and sat with Bruce Weaver and Todd Johnson, who were in Nashville. And I used to live there, so it was easy to track them down and go back at the time. And just sat and watched them. And I took a billiard, or Canadian, that I had made with me, and I was very proud of. And it was ripped to shreds, which it should have been. You got to hear the hard stuff too. So it wasn't until probably a couple of years later that I really just kind of dove in and said, okay, what can I do to really make this better? What can I do? And so I started learning how to refine the lines on the pipe, looking at things that don't work. Why does this pipe look like a pro pipe? Why does this pipe look like an amateur hobbyist pipe? What am I doing that I need to change? And then getting into making my own stems. To me, that's still one of the most time-consuming parts, but it's worth it because you make a great stem. That everybody, here's the glory, on this right here, but this is the make or break. This is the boys from the men. And I'm still trying to perfect what I want to do with stems. So still, it's an ongoing learning process, which is as it should be.
Yeah, so my next question, and maybe you already answered it, I was going to say, what do you think makes a good pipe? Can you share on anything? I know the stem is important, but do you have anything that you can share as far as what you think are most important attributes to a good pipe or a great pipe?
Yeah, function over form, always first. You got to have airways that line up, and the stem, you know, you got to have a good tail funnel at the end. That's one of the things I posted some pictures one time of some stems I did with clear, or at least like the pipe you have many of that's there, the poker with the stem that's got pink and clear in it. I like doing those every once in a while, even just for the sake of doing one, because you can see, yeah, it's on there, but you can see how the funneling is. You know, if everything's lining up the right way, it's really eye-opening. So for anybody who's an aspiring pipe maker out there, I recommend you get something along the lines of a clear or you know, lightly tinted acrylic to practice on, just so you can see how that funneling is. It's really important.
So of everything that you've made, do you have a favorite, whether it's one that you smoke or one that you've made for a customer? Do you have like a hands down favorite?
Yeah, there's two, and it's really an odd way that they became favorites. I never really was a fan of bulldogs, and I wasn't a fan of paneled billiards. I just didn't get it. Didn't find them to be an attractive shape at all. And then one day I said, you know, I got some ideas and I'm going to have to learn how to make a bulldog. And I made one and I was hooked. I haven't made a whole lot, but I love the shape now. It takes a lot of patience and planning to do that and do it right.
So you like the bulldog because you respect it because of what it takes to actually make the pipe. You respect it, or you just, yeah.
I have a lot of respect for the shape and guys who can pull it off.
Okay.
Because it's not an easy shape. It's, you know, it's deceptively hard, much like a billiard. Billiard is my favorite shape, but of the ones that I've made, that particular, I made a bulldog that I took to Nashville show last year. And then this year I took a paneled billiard, and I really never thought about making one, but I had the idea of having the side panels on the billiard be that sunburst fade, and us being a blasted finish. And I did that, and it got a lot of really good response. And I'd never made a pipe with panels or a square shank on it before, and that was a lot of fun too. So I have a lot more respect for those shapes now.
Mm-hmm.
The two shapes I like the least wound up being some of my favorite ones I've made.
That's crazy. So what about if there is there a shape you would recommend for a new pipe maker to start with?
Poker and a billiard.
Poker.
Billiard is the hardest shape to pull off and do it right.
Okay.
Poker is good because it's pretty straight ahead. You're gonna for the most part get good results. Here's what I'm working on. This has been blasted already. I see it down there. Because it is what it is.
Now is that stem like a
line.
greenish aqua, or what is that?
It's matched off from where I was blasting. I haven't even got to the staining stage on this one yet. I just grabbed the show. That's just masking tape from where it was in the blaster.
Oh, we couldn't see that until you turned it up sideways. It looked like just the.
That stem is funky.
Yeah.
But you know, it's straight lines. It is what it is. And a billiard, that's one of the things that I got challenged with early on too. You know, I was trying to make these crazy shapes and do freehand stuff, and then I heard the same thing multiple times from multiple people. It's like, yeah, but can you make a billiard? You know, it's not an easy shape to pull off the right way. That's what I like about it. It's one of my favorite shapes. It's just, it's one of those things too. There are set rules and guidelines to what makes a billiard with some variations here and there.
So is that one of your favorite pipes to smoke also, or just make?
I like to smoke billiard too.
Okay.
I like billiard and Canadians, bent billiards too. Did I send you guys? I think I sent you a bent billiard, didn't I? When we first started working together.
I think we sold that one, right?
I think we sold that.
Oh,
one.
that's right. Yeah, you did. Sweet. I like hearing that.
Yeah. I think you already answered.
Actually, that was the brand. That was a brandy I sent you.
Yeah, you're right.
Other carvers, artists that influence your work or have influenced your work?
Yeah, and I made notes so I wouldn't forget key people.
Okay.
It's like the award speech. Early on, Craig Lascalzo. He is local to Lexington. I haven't talked to him in quite a while. I don't think he's making pipes anymore, but I knew him through a previous career when I was selling clothing, and he was one of my customers. And then one day I just happened to find him online, Lascalzo Pipes. And I was like, there's no way this is not him. That's not a common last name. And sure enough, it was him. So I got together with him, and he started showing me some of the basics, and I learned some of the tooling that I was going to need to get, because the way I was making pipes at the time was pretty dangerously stupid. And I won't say how I did that because I don't want anyone else even attempting it. I'm lucky that, I didn't hurt myself. And then I contacted several people through Pipe Maker Forum. Todd Bernard is one of the guys I talked to a bunch. He's a great guy. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I need to hit him up. Of course, Bruce and Todd. I love Bruce's work. Everybody knows Bruce for his volcanoes, but I think he makes the best cutty out there. I just love his cutties. I would say I really followed some of Kurt Hoon's stuff. Michael Lindner and Nathan King, both of which are part of Briar Lab, which I'm also, well, they're the founding guys of Briar Lab, and I'm also a member of that. What I got from Nathan is a lot of talking about stems and production of the pipe. I mean, that guy is so detailed. It's incredible. And then Michael, he actually sort of found me on Instagram because I was posting pictures of how I was doing pipes in batches. Like, I don't like to make just one pipe at a time anymore if I can avoid it. Some of the weird shapes, which we'll show in a minute, one-offs, that, that's unavoidable. But if I'm making like pokers or the little nasal ants pipes that I make, or some other standard shapes, I don't make just one at a time. I just don't, and that's some things I picked up from him.
And Brandon, let me interrupt. What's the thought process on that? Is that for efficiency of your time, or just like why are you batching it more than doing it one at a time?
Sure. Efficiency of time. People think I'm a full-time pipe maker. I am not. Hardly. I basically have a day job. I teach music lessons, and I also make pipes. Plus, I'm a dad. So I have to make the best use of my time. And part of that is grouping like activities. Also, from a music background, being a percussionist, you have muscle memory. It's like riding a bike. When I start making a particular model of a pipe, it's faster for me to make, 4 or 5 pokers at once, because the body movements, you get used to, okay, I do this when I do this, It's when I step away from a shape and come back to it later on, it's like, oh crap, how do I do this? It's like I've never made one before. But you're doing a bunch of them at a time, you get used to the body movements, and you really don't have to think as much about it. It becomes more natural.
It makes sense, because your initial, or at least my initial thought was, one pipe gets all the attention and all the focus one at a time. But that school of thought, that makes more sense. Or at least to me it does.
And each one is still getting the same amount of attention. It's just that, I'm focused on, right now, on these 6 pipes, and I'm just focused on here. I'll do the basic shaping first. Actually, I came up with a list. I'll walk you through it. Basically, I'll get the briar selected for the shape, or, multiples of that shape. I'll sketch stuff out, or if I have a shape that I've already done, I've sketched it out. I scan all the shapes, put them in the computer, because I like templates. It helps me stay as consistent as possible. And that's one thing I've really worked on this past year and a half. It's like, okay, let's get consistent. What can you do? So I make templates, like 2 different kinds of templates. One is, I don't know if you can see this or not, probably not. It's a clear acrylic. It's for a poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like making a clear acrylic one first because I can hold it up to the block of wood. I can see through how I want the grain that's in the block of wood to orient on this pipe. You know, okay, do I want the grain going this way? Can I get a straight grain? So that helps with that. And then I'll trace it, and after I do that, this is for a pot shape, but I'll create, hold it up so you can see better. I just slap that on the side of the pipe, or on the side of the block. And that way, all my pots, all my builders are consistent. And I've got them in different sizes too, obviously for different size blocks of wood, but that's really helped me with consistency and attention to the details, because I know, okay, it's got to be this. Saves time as well.
Was that self-implemented, or someone helped you with that?
I saw some guys doing templates, but not like the sticky label, which those are just like, you know, Avery labels you buy at an office store. And then actually, after I started doing some of them, I saw other guys who were doing them, and then some of the other guys that have been influences. I don't want to leave out one of them, and I do not know. I've talked to him, and I do not know how you say it correctly, but he's on Facebook as Pipa Volpe. If you want a link to his stuff, I can get it to you. But the guy is so consistent, and he uses templates on stuff too, and he even has it step by step in pictorial essays on his Facebook page. It's just amazing, even down to stuff he does for the stem, templates for the bit on the stem. I love what he does because it just makes sense to me. And I gotta name a couple of guys, especially lately, and you guys are probably well aware of this, but Hector Weeb makes the radiator pipe.
Yep.
And Chris Morgan. Both those guys have become very influential to me, and I have ongoing collaboration with both of them. And not only from the pipe making standpoint, but from the business side of things too. You know, it does have to be treated as a business if you want to continue doing it. And those guys have a lot of insight. I've tried to pick their brains on, and you know, Hector is really on top of the costs and, you know, all the little bits and pieces that go into the cost of making a pipe.
Yeah.
Plus, today is his birthday, so if he's watching, happy birthday, Hector.
Oh yeah, happy birthday!
Awesome.
We
Happy
actually
birthday.
have some of his pipes on the way to on their way to us. So, is there something that you want your customers to know about your work that maybe they don't know, or something that, you know, you're doing that behind the scenes they don't realize?
Yeah, I would say one of the main things is that for anybody who's a pre-customer, the finishes don't show up as well in pictures as they do in person. I think you guys can have discovered that too. Once those got there, you're like, okay, this is nothing like the picture. And it's hard to even show in video. The other part of things that a lot of people don't know is I'm very accessible. I love working in direct contact with somebody. Phone is not always the option because of the day job and stuff, and at night I've got stuff going on too, but I can always sit and do a text, or I use Voxer a lot. I like staying in communication with people I'm working with, or even when we're coming up with something new, because I learn stuff that way. I've got a couple guys in particular. Well, there's a third guy too that I gotta give him credit because he pushed me to make a shape I had sketched out probably 2 years ago, and there's a couple other guys that have basically said, I want you to make this, and it's not a shape I would have normally gone for. Like, I probably one guy wanted me to make a ballerina, and I probably would not have made a ballerina for a long time had he not said, no, you can do this, make one for me. So I tackled it, and I really liked the shape, and that got me into studying some of Beau's stuff, because that's his shape. And the crazy looking monster pipe that I did with the tentacles, I don't know if you guys ever saw that one or not, but
Yeah, we used some of the pictures in your interview blog, I think.
okay. That is based off of the writings of H.P. Lovecraft. And another guy who we follow each other on Instagram messaged me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing a Cthulhu-inspired pipe?" I was like, "Actually, yes, I have a sketch. I'll send it to you. Tell me what you think." And he got it. Said, "Do that, please." So it kind of pushed me to do it. Pushed me out of the comfort zone.
Yeah. Now, are you taking a lot of consignments, or are you mostly just creating your own work and selling it?
I stay busy with commissions a lot. I'm trying to get more into working with you guys. There's several other people I work with, obviously, and I would like to be able to just make some and send it. But right now, I'm working on a lot of commissions, and I haven't had much of a chance to just make some to make some.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when you see me pop something up, it's kind of an experiment in finish or shape. It's like my mental break from doing the things that necessarily have to get done. It's like, okay, let's play hooky a little bit today, and what can we come up with?
So, just to interrupt you for a second, Brandon, Vapin Piper just left you a shout out and said you were super accessible through Voxer when you guys were collaborating on his commission. So he just wanted everybody to know.
He just got his new one. He posted some pictures today. I promised him I would not post any pictures until he got it and saw it first. He was very adamant about that. So I teased him with a few pics, though. I just sort of cover it up a little bit and showed him what we looked.
Yeah.
But,
Brandon,
he just posted them on Instagram.
What's your environment like where you work? Where do you work out of, and what is it like?
Sure, it's my garage.
Okay.
And it's not heated in the winter, so it kind of sucks. I have to keep them, as long as I keep my feet warm, I'm okay. But yeah, it's pretty much I've relegated to the fact that I'm not going to get a car in the garage anymore. So that's really about it. And I'll sit in front of the TV and sketch. That's my other office.
And what about when you're actually working? Do you play music? Or is it quiet? Do you have the TV going? Like, what would the environment be like if we were there with you?
I know some guys watch TV. I couldn't do that while I was making a pipe. I have a hard enough time not looking up when I'm doing Periscope, working on a pipe. I got fussed at, rightfully so, by Joe Case multiple times because I was working on something. I'd look at the camera to see what was going on. So nothing visual. My eyes have to stay focused. I listen to audiobooks, all kinds of music. I have a music background, so it's about anything. Well, lots of funk music in the shop to keep me going.
Okay.
Funk, I like it.
So what if you seem pretty even-keeled, but if a pipe doesn't go the way you want, what about taking out your frustrations? Do you punch something? Do you drink? How do you relieve those frustrations?
Well, I play drums, so
Okay.
I can beat the crap out of the drums.
Okay.
Prior to that, it usually winds up being a dent in the garage door from flying briar. No, not really, but there's a lot of choice words muttered under my breath and that sort of thing.
I was gonna say the playing
kinda-
the drums seems a little healthy, Brandon.
What's that?
The playing the drums to reduce stress seems awfully healthy.
It helps. It helps. First, when I'm working on a pipe late at night and it tanks, like midnight, and I'm working on a pipe, it's like, no, I can't really go play drums right now. So, Family Guy it is.
So what about timing? Do you mostly work, because you have a busy schedule, are you mostly like doing this late hours, early mornings, or just whenever you can find time?
Typical schedule is I'm up very early. I I have at least 2 cups of espresso before I talk to anybody. And then I will start working on pipes, which will usually give me about an hour. Then I'll go get my boys and take them to school. Come home, work on pipes for about an hour. Get ready, go to the day job, which is typically 10 to 6. At least 2, if not 3 nights a week, I teach music lessons right after work, and then I come home and I work on pipes.
Wow. That's a busy schedule.
Yeah, so if I look tired, that's why.
Listen, the webcams for Google are not friendly to anybody. So
Yeah, every time
we
it
all look
pops up, I'm
tired.
like, yeah. I wanted to ask, I don't know if I'm jumping around, but I wanted to ask about these bags because they're really, I mean, they're awesome. Are you making these, or who's making these bags for you?
We, Jake Brannick from Kraken Pipe Leather, he lives here in Georgetown, Kentucky as well. And we figured out, I think by way of Instagram once again, that we're actually in the same town. And I'd been following his work for a while. I said, well, Jake, the guy who's been making my bags is getting out of the business. I want you to make one for me. So he started making them, and then one day I just thought, well, why don't I come up with a bag that matches the pipe, because I hadn't seen anybody do that. So I'm doing the coloring. He'll get me the blanks, I'll do the bag coloring, and then I get it to him to complete the bag. And actually the ones we have now are even better leather than I think the ones you have there. Much softer, and he just does a great job. And he did a very special bag. I got to brag on it, but he did a very special bag for that creature pipe that I did that was way above and beyond you know, what needed to be done, and it just was absolutely stunning. It had 3 different sections to it, and the bottom of it was made from a bourbon barrel stave, or staves. Just, and he's a great guy to work with too.
What about the logo? I love. I mean, it's simple, but it's professional and it's clean. I mean, who came up with that logo?
I did. That's my handwriting.
Really cool. I like that. Maybe it's because my name is Ben. I like the B.
It's just, it was one of those things that I was sitting messing around one day, and I was like, oh, you know, BB, let's go B squared. So I just started messing around with it.
I like it.
Thank
So
you.
since I went through a lot of like just our general questions, we had some Instagram questions. I'm going to go through just a few of them. Are we
Sure.
able to take questions from people
Yeah,
on here?
that's what's been popular.
Okay. I'm just learning our new format here. So I'm going to ask some Instagram questions. If anyone that's viewing has any questions, this would be the best time to post them on here, and I'll ask them right after these Instagram questions.
Before you do
You
that,
have to ask my favorite one though.
Which
Save it,
one?
save
Yeah,
it.
I'm saving that one for last.
Save that for last.
That's the best question so far. I think the best question we've ever had on any interview. So we're going to save that one. But yeah, if you want to say something first.
yeah. So Brandon's referred to that creature pipe a couple of times. So I'm going to pop that into the spotlights for you, a link to Brandon's Instagram where you can take a look at that pipe because it's super cool. And Brandon,
Thank you.
is there a story that goes along with that pipe too?
I did. I wrote a short story that goes with it, and it's on my Facebook page. If people really want to take the time to read it, I'll be more than happy to give them a link to read that.
All right. I'll put in a link to Brandon's Facebook page as well.
Thank you. I have an arts background for fantastic.
Okay, so
Back to you.
the Instagram username, it looked like Looped Weight, asked, for someone looking to start making pipes, what are a few things to look out for as I start out?
I think I remember that question. Classics. Study the classics. Don't try to do anything crazy to begin with. Do a poker, do a billiard, and really study and learn what makes them what they are. That'll give you an understanding of function and form. Don't worry about like all kinds of expensive tooling at first. Start with the kit. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's a great way to learn.
Start where you are.
That's right.
M.A. Bradley, 65.
That's Mike.
That's
Yeah, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Everyone knows Michael. He's awesome. He asked, or he said, he really likes the spray paint style colors. What inspired you to try that?
There's a lot of different techniques that go into making that. It's not as straightforward as you might think. That's one of those things where I hate to say it, it sounds as simple, but an idea just popped in my head one day, and I tried it, and then I started tweaking how I did it. I draw on a lot of different areas. I like the use of color, as you can probably tell. Be that in music, audible color, or visually. And I wanted to find a way to utilize some of that in different techniques. And some of that is pulled from my time in the music instrument industry, like the fade kind of finish that looks like an old Gibson kind of guitar. That's from my time in the music industry, learning how to do some of that. And then just really looking at different things and thinking, can I do a pipe finish that reminds me of that or is like that? Like, I sat and studied pictures of the cracked lava kind of thing for ages before I even attempted to do it. I knew what I wanted to do, but it's like, how am I going to do that? And sometimes it's just a happy mistake.
Okay. Let's see. Not the fake B-dub. Oh, no, wait. I'm waiting on that one. That one's waiting.
Yeah, wait on that.
That question is waiting for last. Okay. Do we have any questions coming through yet or no?
Oh, let me bring that back up. Sorry. Go ahead while I bring that back.
Okay, so we have Path Forging asked, how do you detail the lines in the pipes when you are carving?
And I interpreted that as being like the form of the pipe. On classic shapes, my interpretation on classic shapes, I like very clean lines. Let's put this up here again. On this poker, I want my poker to look like somebody took a shank and stuck it in a bowl. There's very clean lines around here. There's nothing wrong with the curved stuff. This is just my personal preference on what I want my pipes to look like. And this is a very defined kind of shape. It is what it is. With a billiard or other curve type shapes, I learned this from Bruce Weaver pretty much right off the bat, is if you've got a curved shape, you want that curve to continue and your eye not to stop anywhere along that curve. If it stops, then something's out of whack. You got to fix it. And at the same time, I still like a clean line across the back, like side of a billiard, or this is the nasal line shape that I make. So just making sure those are clean. Now, on the more organic shapes, okay if I show that the weird one?
Yeah, absolutely.
On ones like this, it's all curves. Move to the side so you can see a little better background. I don't want my eye to stop anywhere along here. Okay, that curve continues around and around and just keeps going. This curve keeps going and going and going this way. This one curves and it may meet out here, but it keeps going. Same thing over here. So just making sure there's fluid motion to it. and this is the one I posted on Instagram too. This is actually a stand for the pipe itself. And this is also a Cavalier. The bottom comes off here.
So cool.
And the top is held on with a series of magnets that force it to align a certain way.
What do you estimate that pipe weighs, or maybe you know how much does that weigh?
You know, I don't know, and I was thinking I had my scale close, I could tell you, but it's nowhere to be found right this second. Sorry.
It looks heavy to me.
It's a bigger pipe. You know, this is not too bad by itself, but of course this is just a base that it's supposed to sit on.
Yep.
So, but you know, it's a good sized pipe. That's a chunk of briar in your hands right there.
Any questions? I had one on. Actually, we had one come through on Instagram. Let's see. Okay, so that was Path Forgings on the line. So someone just posted on Instagram. Bradley Richard on USA. He wants to know, what is the most used tool in your shop?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Good question, Bradley.
My lathe, first of all, of course. That's a kind of a given. I would say the one I use the most, next after that would be a small belt sander that I have, that I modified. Frankly, it's just a cheap Harbor Freight 1-inch wide belt sander. And I had someone take the backing plate that goes behind the belt and trim a 1/4 inch off of both sides, so it's only 1/2 inch wide. And I'll take a sanding belt that's 1 inch wide and cut it right down the middle, so it's only 1/2 inch wide. And I'll use that to really get into fine-tune shaping stuff. Like I use that a lot on stuff like the pokers to get in and around these edges. And it's funny because I had not really used a wheel to do a lot of shaping on past a certain point, and I watched a video of Walt doing his thing, and he uses almost exclusively a belt sander. So it's one of those things that, you know, you think, oh, maybe I'm crazy for doing it this way, and then you see somebody else doing it, like, okay, well, that validates it a little bit. But that would be the one I use the second most.
All right. So, how about any other questions? Because I know we're coming down to our last few, and I'm saving, I think, the best question for last.
Yeah, so we have one more question from Instagram, and we have a couple other little announcements before we talk about Brandon's special pipe. So if you have any questions, we've only got a few minutes left, so type them into the question box.
Or on Instagram.
Or submit them to us on one of the posts for Brandon on Instagram from yesterday or today, and we will get them up. Otherwise, you want to go ahead and do that?
Well, actually, one that I missed was a pretty common one. Do you have a favorite tobacco?
2 right now. Stokely Luxury Twist Flake. And no, I'm sorry, there's 3. I have to name a third one. Escudo, I really like Escudo right now. I have some tins I'd squirreled away for a while, and I opened one the other day. It was just like this beautiful plum smell to it, and it just, I love that one. And then my favorite English is Stokely English Oriental Supreme.
Cool. And another thought I just had, a random thought. So you've been doing this for 8 years?
Yeah, about 8 years, but I would say 2.5 to 3, seriously.
So in a perfect world, where do you want your business to take you? Like, where do you see it going, or where would you like it to take you?
I would love to be able to do just this. That is probably not an immediate future kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are certain obligations I have to meet and things like that, and maybe one day I can do that. I probably will still teach music. I won't walk away from that at all. But I've looked at like making a few other things as well to kind of supplement. Occasionally I make some I've made some briar jewelry using some of the finishes that I've kind of gotten known for. So I wouldn't mind doing some of that again too. It's just I haven't had time to do any of that lately.
What about special requests? Like we've had some people tell us, some carvers tell us that they've had really odd requests to make things. Have you had anything like that?
Oh yeah. You had asked me about that. I try to remember what it was. Of course, you get the occasional. Do you make 420 pipes kind of questions? I don't. I'm trying to think of weirdest requests I've gotten. The thing is, somebody gives me a weird request, the first thing that pops into my mind is, okay, how can I make that work? So it's not really weird to me. I like the challenge. But that's really how I like to tackle it. So
you would actually take the challenge. So if I wanted, I don't know, anything made out of wood, you would take the challenge of making it.
The first thing I would have to do is estimate the amount of time and the cost and whatnot that goes into it, and come up with a reasonable, price or something comparatively to how much time I'm going to put into it. Because the creature pipe, that took a while. It was a learning experience too. I'd never done anything like that. But I like challenges. Sometimes I'll sketch stuff out on paper that I look at and go, now how am I going to drill that? How am I going to do that? And it's like a puzzle. I like trying to figure it out. It may not always work, but I'm weird anyway, so I like the weird requests.
There you go. Is there anything, Rena, that... Wait, something just popped up here.
Yes, we are trying to take requests for question and answers from 3 different platforms all at once. So.
All right, J.V. Richardson on Instagram asked, have you made a church warden? Also, who is that other random guy in the call? So, have you made a church warden? And do we know who that is? Who's watching?
I don't know.
We don't know who that is.
I posted the link in Google, so if you want to wave at us, our other video participant, and say hi. No?
We don't know who that is.
He's waving.
But have you made a church warden or anything close to that?
I like church wardens. I don't know that I necessarily like making stems for church wardens, but no, I'll do it. In fact, I've got one I'm working on for about to start working on for a guy in Sweden. He had a request, and I'll keep that one kind of hush hush until it's done. I want to do some things with it. So, but he contacted me today and said, hey, do you think I can get it before Christmas? And I said, well, I'll see what I can do. I'll try my best. But yeah, I love a good church warden.
Is there something that we didn't ask that you want to either share, tell us, anything that we're missing?
Not that I can think of. It's been pretty comprehensive and fun.
Right. So we saved the very last question. If anyone else has anything.
This is the best question I think we've ever
this was just
for a hangout.
This was just awesome. This was hands down so far the best question.
And it came out of nowhere too. When I first read it, I was like, oh man, that is just the best question.
Yep. Okay, so not the fake B-dub asked, if Betty White asked you to commission a pipe for her and gave no specifics as to what she wanted, what would you create?
Okay, yeah, it's got to be
ready for this answer.
It's got to be one of my favorite questions I've ever been asked. First of all, I love Betty White. She's hilarious. I would find the oldest piece of briar I could find first, and it would have to be a classic shape because she is a classic. Probably some sort of shape that's slightly bent, like her sense of humor. Maybe a bulldog. It would have to have a gold stem because I still love Golden Girls. Have to find something to look gold. one of the best. The older I get, the funnier the show that show is. And then it would have to have a color shift kind of finish to it. She's quite the chameleon. I mean, she can pull off a lot of different stuff. So that's what I would make for Betty White.
That is a solid answer. And I think if he's watching or if someone knows not the fake B-dub, do you know who that is?
On Instagram.
He deserves something for that question. So
Yeah, he does.
if he can reach out to us or we'll reach out to him, we're gonna send him something for that question.
Let's say it this way. So, not the fake B-dub, right? Not the fake B-dub. If you are watching us, send us a private message on Instagram or send an email to social@tobaccopipes.com with your address and real name, and we will send you something special for that awesome question.
If I'm not following you on Instagram, shoot me a private message too, because I got to see what you're posting with a question like that. It's just absolutely fantastic.
That's awesome.
And I just pulled him up, and just so you'll appreciate this, his name is Brandon.
Sweet. See?
So just in case someone doesn't know how to reach you, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
You can find me on Voxer. It's Brandon Brooks. Instagram is, I think it's Brandon H. Brooks. I can't remember what it is on there. But you can find me through these guys on Instagram, Facebook, and then email is brandonbrookspipes.com.
Cool. All
Oh,
right.
I'm sorry, no, brandonbrookspipes@gmail.com. Sorry.
Yes,
There we go.
There we go.
Don't go to my website. It's horrible. My website is so bad that it leads to my old website, which I haven't updated in 2 years. I just don't have time to mess with it. I know it's sad.
You're
but I
busy.
don't.
You're busy. You're a busy man. You're busy in the shop.
So-
You want to take over?
Yeah,
For-
so we're going to let Brandon talk about the special pipe that he has to give away, but before we do that, I just want to make a couple of announcements. We promised some of our email subscribers that we would give you a heads up for what's coming from tobaccopipes.com for Black Friday weekend. Right? So we promised we'd tell you that. So, if you feel the need to hold off for a couple of days before you buy your new Brandon Brooks pipes or whatever it is you choose, we are running a site-wide accept tobacco because we are in Florida. Site-wide, and you can ask us offline what Florida has to do with it. We are site-wide accept tobacco 15% off for the last time this year. We will not have any other sales or discounts until after the new year. So this is the time to get your Christmas presents or stock up on your 2015 stuff. And then we are giving away our very last Savinelli St. Nicholas Christmas set. It is a $250 value, and we will be giving that away Cyber Monday. But you have to do some stuff over the next few days to enter to win, so stay tuned on Instagram and check your email if you're interested in winning that set. And I think that's it.
Yeah,
for
I
right
think
now.
actually one other thing
Yeah.
I wanted to. I just want to show some pipe. I don't think we showed any
Yeah,
pipes.
because we're far away from the camera today.
But still, real quick, just to show some of Brandon's work. And I know this doesn't.
Hey, that's the one I was talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other one.
No. It's just some of Brandon's work. I mean, it's on the site, but I mean, it's just.
That's the panel billiard I was talking about.
Yep. And each one of these has a matching leather case that goes with it.
That one right there is one that one of the ones he was talking about. I don't think it's the exact finish, but where there's a lot to the finish on this pipe that you can't see from the pictures. It's super cool.
And then is he going to show his
Yes.
giveaway pipe? All right. So after this is Rita's favorite.
That's my favorite, even though I don't need a pink pipe.
All right. So Brandon's going to show the pipe he's giving away for the hangout.
Yeah, so Brandon, you want to tell us a little bit about that pipe?
Yeah, I like hot rods. I don't know much about it. I love the look of a flame job on a hot rod. And Mark Alkovic does this fantastic ring of fire, I think is what he calls it. And so I didn't want to exactly copy what he does. That's his thing, and it's a beautiful, beautiful pipe. So I wanted to, using some of the stuff that I do to do some of the fades and stuff, to actually do some flames that kind of fade. I don't know if you're able to see this from this webcam. This is one of the first real attempts at doing this. I messed around with it, and this is not quite where I want it to be, but I think it's, you know, I don't mind this going out to somebody, finding a good home. Perfectly functioning pipe as well. All the air holes line up. The stem is, you know, got a nice tight little bit on it. And it's stamped with proto. Anytime I let a prototype go out to somebody, you can't see it now. Anytime I let a prototype go out the door, I make sure it's stamped proto. Because it's a neat little thing for somebody to have and say, hey, I got the first one of these. You know, and this isn't exactly what I wanted, but you know, it's got the flames on it and hand pinstriping. That's the thing I'm working on right now the most, is getting the pinstriping down.
It's hard to see the color over the video. Is that like an orange-red type of flame?
It is an orange-red kind of flame, and the pinstriping is sort of a teal color.
Okay.
And the upper part of the pipe is black and very lightly blasted.
Very cool. So how does someone win this pipe tonight? What do they have
sorry,
to...
I was answering on Instagram. Yeah. So, all right, we're doing something a little bit different also for the drawing tonight. So everything's just brand new. We want you guys to tell us what your favorite thing is about the hangout, or what you learned from Brandon. And you can do that by emailing social@tobaccopipes.com. And so send an email to social@tobaccopipes.com telling us what your favorite thing from the hangout was, or what your favorite thing that you learned from Brandon's interview was. And we will put those with the show notes and the link to the video on our blog. You have until midnight Pacific Standard Time, because we always get the comment that our West Coast people are still at work when we do these. So you have until midnight Pacific Standard Time today. That's the 24th, right? November 24th it is the 24th.
It is the 24th.
Okay, yep. I'm not losing my dates yet. You have until midnight today Pacific Standard Time, November 24th, to send that email, which allows our West Coast friends to watch the playback and get their entries in. We will do the drawing based on those emails. We'll print them out, give them each a number, and we'll do the drawing using random number generator live on Periscope at noon tomorrow, and that's Eastern time, because we are gonna go make pies for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Real quick, for the winter, I still got to do a few things to it. Like I got to do the bowl coat and make a bag for it, so it's not even ready to go right away.
Okay, we'll at least pick the winner and get it ready.
Yep. And it's going to come directly from Brandon to you, and we will pick that winner tomorrow at 12 Eastern Standard Time live on Periscope. So
that's it.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys for being with us. This was our first time doing it this way. Brandon, we appreciate you being our guinea pig.
No problem.
That's it. That's it. Thank you, everyone, for viewing. And make sure to email us, and stay tuned for our next.
Yeah. So our next hangout, we will be with Joe Case. Joe Case's rescheduled Christmas extravaganza is the second Tuesday in December. I don't have the date handy.
We'll send it out.
Yeah, it'll be going out. And I have a very, very special Joe Case pipe sitting on my desk that we will be giving away on that hangout as well. So stay tuned. And I will post the email address, if you didn't catch it, in the notes underneath both of these videos. So have a great night and happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanksgiving.
All right. Good night.
Good night.